In Dalton Thursday evening, as Chicago's former mayor, who was hired to investigate Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration, revealed the shocking spending of taxpayer dollars.
Drama in Dalton. Credit card transactions amounting to thousands of dollars without explanation and millions more owed to vendors.
A bombshell report highlights just how much financial trouble the village of Dalton is really.
Say the village is facing financial disaster, and they blame the mayor for mismanagement. She says this is all just political.
Residents of Dalton and Thornton Township, long aware of their community's financial struggles, were stunned by revelations from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot that exposed a fiscal crisis far worse than anyone had imagined. The area is now burdened with millions of dollars in debt, a situation that has only worsened over the years. Frustrated citizens have repeatedly called for Tiffany Henyard, mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township, to step down. However, their pleas have been ignored. Henyard has shown no remorse or willingness to address the growing accusations of corruption, favoritism, and financial mismanagement that have defined her time in office. Instead, Henyard's administration has become a magnet for controversy, with allegations of embezzlement, misuse of taxpayer funds, and reckless decision-making overshadowing any positive contributions. Despite widespread public outcry, Henyard's apparent indifference to the concerns of her constituents has only deepened resentment and mistrust. The recent announcement of an FBI investigation into her conduct marked a turning point, sending shockwaves through a community that had long grown accustomed to broken promises and political theater. Evidence of Henyard's questionable actions continues to emerge, painting a grim picture of governance where personal agendas have consistently taken precedence over the public good. Allegations of lavish spending, taxpayer-funded luxury vacations, expensive purchases, and wasteful projects have led many to believe Henyard is intent on leaving Dalton and Thornton Township financially depleted before her tenure ends. Her fiscal mismanagement and unethical behavior extend beyond the misuse of funds, reflecting a broader failure of leadership and responsibility. Residents are increasingly questioning how one individual could so blatantly erode public trust and dismantle the financial foundations of their community. Adding insult to injury, Lori Lightfoot's review of Dalton's finances uncovered a shocking $36.5 million deficit in the village's general fund. This revelation has become a symbol of Henyard's administration's failures, encapsulating years of neglect and misappropriation that have pushed the community to the brink of collapse. Public outrage has only intensified as reports have surfaced of Henyard using public funds for personal indulgences, including extravagant travel and an $85,000 personal audit. These revelations have solidified her image as a leader disconnected from the struggles of her constituents. The fallout from her actions has also severely impacted Thornton Township, which falls under Henyard's jurisdiction. Essential services, such as insurance, senior transportation, and food assistance, have been jeopardized due to administrative breakdowns. These hardships underscore the human cost of leadership failures, as vulnerable populations bear the brunt of decisions made for personal gain. The ongoing FBI investigation has become a symbol of hope for many residents who view it as a potential path to justice and a chance to restore accountability. After years of stalled local efforts to rein in Henyard's unchecked authority, the investigation represents a critical intervention. Critics accuse Henyard of deliberately stalling while public resources are diverted for her benefit. Her absence from crucial township meetings, particularly those focused on resolving the insurance crisis, has further fueled public anger. Residents see these absences as emblematic of her disregard for the community's well-being. Prominent critics, including trustees like Chris Gonzalez, have emphasized the dangerous implications of such neglect, pointing out that issues like insurance and essential services are not merely political matters, but have profound consequences for people's lives. The worsening state of affairs has galvanized opposition and sparked calls for a complete overhaul of leadership. Many residents hope that with new leadership, Dalton and Thornton Township can rise from the ashes of mismanagement, rebuild their community, and restore financial stability and integrity.
From multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges.
The controversy surrounding Tiffany Henyard intensified as she became the subject of numerous complaints, with some of the most alarming allegations coming from local business owners. These owners alleged that their establishments were unfairly targeted and forcibly shut down simply because they refused to support political events endorsed by Henyard. The accusations revealed a deeply troubling narrative of an administration accused of wielding its power for personal and political vendettas instead of nurturing a thriving local economy. Business owners described an atmosphere dominated by fear and retaliation, where failing to align with the mayor's agenda could result in sudden and unjust regulatory actions. These actions reportedly included arbitrary fines or even outright closures of businesses. Such tactics have significantly strained the relationship between Henyard's administration and the local business community, further eroding public trust. Critics argue that these alleged behaviors represent a gross abuse of power, placing personal political ambitions above the economic well-being of the very businesses that sustain the town's prosperity. The repercussions of these actions extended far beyond the business sector, sparking outrage among residents who viewed them as evidence of a blatant disregard for fair governance and ethical leadership. Henyard's critics cited these incidents as further proof of an administration consistently prioritizing self-interest over the welfare of the community. This has fueled growing demands for greater transparency, accountability, and a call for Henyard's removal from office. These allegations, coupled with increasing evidence of financial mismanagement and other scandals, have alienated a substantial portion of the public. Many residents have come to believe that Henyard's leadership is no longer tenable. While Henyard has steadfastly denied any wrongdoing and dismissed the claims as baseless attacks, her failure to address the concerns of both business owners and citizens in a meaningful way has only exacerbated the crisis. This alleged abuse of power has added another layer to an already intricate web of accusations, leaving many to question whether Henyard's administration can recover from the growing backlash. The unfolding events have led to widespread speculation about whether this marks the beginning of the end of her political career, or if she will find a way to navigate through the mounting opposition.
Or retaliation. Both of the Dalton bars that were raided and shut down last night, we visited the day before as part of our ongoing investigation into allegations of political corruption in Dalton.
They just rushed in here, put police at the front of the door like they was doing a raid on the drug house.
A team of Dalton police officers raided and shut down Pablo's Bar and Cafe and Rinky's Bar and Cafe, both located uncivilly about a block apart.
Everything going peacefully. Nothing going on. It's like 10 police cars came in and they start pushing customers from here. And he said, if you don't leave, we're going to lock.
The controversy surrounding Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard escalated as employees and business owners accused her of engaging in a sustained campaign of harassment that has resulted in job losses and financial setbacks. Business owners alleged that their licenses had been unjustly revoked by the village, yet many continued to operate under state jurisdiction as tensions grew. In response to these troubling allegations, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was appointed to investigate Henyard's alleged illicit activities. This decision marked a pivotal moment in the unfolding saga, and Henyard's reaction was both swift and combative. Henyard's administration appeared determined to undermine Lightfoot's efforts from the outset. Her initial strategy was to deflect responsibility, attempting to shift blame for the growing challenges facing Dalton and Thornton Township onto the village trustees. This approach not only deepened existing divisions within the local government, but also further alienated Henyard from an already skeptical public. Despite mounting evidence of mismanagement and corruption, Henyard continued to deny any wrongdoing, framing Lightfoot's investigation as politically motivated and designed to tarnish her reputation. However, Henyard's deflection tactics began to lose their effectiveness as Lightfoot's investigation uncovered a troubling pattern of financial mismanagement and corruption tied directly to Henyard's administration. The inquiry revealed a landscape marred by questionable financial practices, unexplained deficits, and a series of financial irregularities that pointed squarely back to the mayor. Nevertheless, Henyard dismissed the findings, characterizing the investigation as a personal attack on her leadership. As the investigation progressed, it became increasingly clear that Henyard had misused taxpayer funds for extravagant expenses, justifying them as community improvements that provided little tangible benefit to residents. Lavish travel, costly personal perks, and questionable contracts became hallmarks of an administration accused of prioritizing self-interest over the needs of its constituents. Henyard's resistance to Lightfoot's probe only amplified public outrage. The deeper the investigation delved, the more concerning the details became. Lightfoot's findings painted a picture of consistent financial waste and a lack of transparency in decision-making. Despite the growing evidence, Henyard and her supporters argued that she was the target of a smear campaign orchestrated by political rivals. They claimed that the systemic problems Henyard inherited upon taking office were the root cause of the village's financial struggles. On the other hand, an increasing number of residents and officials demanded accountability, viewing Henyard's attempts to deflect responsibility as both desperate and unconvincing. As the investigation continued, the divide between Henyard's defenders and her critics grew wider. Supporters maintained that the mayor was being unfairly targeted and that the challenges she faced were beyond her control. Critics, however, saw her actions as a deliberate attempt to evade responsibility for her administration's failures. This widening divide set the stage for further political conflict, with growing calls for transparency, accountability, and a complete overhaul of leadership to restore trust and stability to Dalton and Thornton Township.